Welcome in, everybody, to the pack. Thank you all for coming in tonight. Really looking forward to this show. We got a special guest, special primetime week, Packers, so a lot going on. As everyone can see, Janet is here. Oh, Jan, one of the better Twitter handles you're going to find out there in the Packers sphere. Janet doing her dances, as always. Janet, thank you so much for the late addition here to the show. Really saved us. So thank you. And how you doing? How's your week been?
It's been pretty hectic coming home, and just I drove. Oh, and thank you for inviting me. Sorry. But I always love being a guest on these like podcasts and stuff. But it's just been I'm trying to recover. I'm trying to recover from Sunday. It was intense, and also I live all the way in Texas, so it isn't an easy commute to get up there. It's either a 19-hour drive, or what I did was I drove 4 hours up to Dallas to meet up with some friends, and then we flew, and that was like a two and a half.
I was going to ask you like how you drove back already. Okay, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I was initially. This is the first time I've ever flown up there. Oh. I usually drive. I always drive, and so this was the first time I've ever flown. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I prefer to drive. I really do.
Really? Wow, that is a long drive. I mean, what about it do you like more?
Okay, so well, first of all, when I went in the summer, I was able to be on my own schedule. And I think that's so if I had driven, I would have actually been able to stay there longer. Honestly, I would have probably stayed for the Lions game had I driven at this point. But yeah, and then I can also come back with all the cheese and all the beer and all the and I didn't get to do that this time. It makes me so sad. I have 3 blocks of cheese left from the summer, and I need to eat them.
Only 3 blocks of cheese? Wow, that doesn't seem like a lot at all.
No, compared to I came home in the summer with $100 worth of it. I usually buy $150. I take an ice chest and I fill it up with cheese and beer and just drinks, and I bring them all back. And I didn't get to do that this time because I flew, so it kind of broke my heart.
That does sound heartbreaking. Whenever I cannot travel with huge amounts of cheese, I'm no good. It really ruins my day. So I get what you're saying. But
yeah,
we see, guys, everyone in the comments section. Appreciate you all pulling in. Ben, Wolf Boy, and Mayo Girl, which, by the way, yes, so we got Wolf Boy, Zach, Mayo Girls, Jen. That is actually should be the name of some sort of segment or a T-shirt. I don't know what I am. LeBeau, you can let me know. I'm sure it'll be offensive. Blue by you, I appreciate that. I'm down to look more and more like Bakhtiari all the time. And Zach, we would love that. We would love for you to join us as soon as you can. But in the meantime, let's get back to first off the Saints game, Bakhtiari. I don't know why I just said Bakhtiari. I read it in the chat and said it out loud. But I meant to say, Jan, so you were at the game. For anyone who did not realize that by now, Janet was at the game. Very exciting, very jealous. I think anyone who was not there would be jealous. So, Janet, I feel like if you want to tell us about the first 3 quarters, you could. If you want to skip over that, I get it. But what was that like to be at that game? Jordan Love's first start, comeback win for the ages. I mean, really exciting.
So, yeah, well, the last quarter was super exciting. The first 3 quarters, the Packers fan cam got me on camera crying during the half because I was so annoyed and so upset and so bummed out that, this is our home opener, and we came to see Love, and we came to see, him finally make his debut as QB1 on the field. And so at that point, I don't know who I was crying for. Him, me, the fans, like what was going on? I was just so upset about it. And then I did mention in the other shows that I don't think Derek Carr was a good quarterback. And then everybody was like, oh, you're going to jinx us. And then I feel like I cursed him instead because he ended up getting injured. And I'm over here crying about it. But once we started picking up speed and once we started, getting our rhythm, it was electric at Lambeau. At this point, I was not listening to the older people.
Yeah, clearly,
the,
clearly.
I was not listening to the older people. I was not listening to them telling me to sit down, stop cussing. I was just full blown, like, because at this point, obviously the hand waving with love, it just turned
Yeah.
it turned the entire stadium on, and we were all just feeding off each other's energy. And so I was not listening. And then I'm pretty sure I got upset with some people trying to start the wave. I think the fan cam also had me getting upset with the people behind me trying to start the wave. I was like, can y'all stop, please? But
It's insane how it continues to happen, and you have, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, anyone can come out. The president can come out and say, "Stop doing the wave." People are still going to do it. It doesn't make sense.
well, luckily they didn't, though. I guess we were on edge at this point. It was the fourth quarter, and we didn't want the wave. We were just like, no, we're trying to focus on the game right now. We don't care about it.
Who cares? Like,
Yeah, who cares about that right now?
it's really not that fun. Also, it's like, ooh, like is it that
Yeah.
fun? It's not that much fun.
Yeah, no, it's not that much fun. But to see him come back that way was just so I don't even know how to explain it. It was beautiful. It was eerie in a way because everybody was saying that I'm getting goosebumps right now. Everybody, has been talking nothing about, oh, what are you gonna do without Rodgers? What are you gonna do without Rodgers? And it's as if Rodgers never left, but with a better attitude. And I'm not saying I love Rodgers, always will, always have. He gave us so many good years, but I've always said that he already had bad blood within the Packers, and I think everybody outgrows situations, outgrows jobs, and it's a business. You got to move. So I think on Good Morning Football they were saying how Rodgers did come left with like a lot of drama and stuff, and now we've got Jordan Love that's just like a football guy. Like all he does is football. Like he has no, he doesn't have cameras following him around other than being a player. So it feels like Rodgers never really left off the field, if that makes sense.
No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, for me, I think similar to what you're saying, we have not really heard, about Aaron Rodgers in connection to the Packers really since the season started. Like there hasn't been the Packers. Are they missing Rodgers? Are they not missing him? Because like Love is just doing his own thing. He's balling. He's been playing really well. And obviously, you're not going to find me saying no one's thinking about Rodgers because I'm always thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. I'm like, my heart's broken right now that he's not even playing. It is so weird to not see him on any, obviously, like any NFL shows. And
it's weird to have Sunday football with no Aaron Rodgers. It's odd, but yeah, Love is just doing his own thing, and it's awesome to see. And obviously, with the way he's playing, people are now going to be asking questions or wondering about decisions made over the last few months and all that. So that's great because we really didn't need any more of that drama. But outside of Love, one other thing I wanted to ask you was, I mean, I don't know where you were sitting, and I don't know, with how much you were potentially drinking or not drinking, how much you were paying attention, but did Rashawn Gary look as incredible in person as he did on TV?
He really did. There was one moment, yes, I was drinking. Maybe the fact that I was drinking that he looked this way, but there was one moment where he looked like Superman. I just saw him fly across the field. So I don't know if maybe it was because I was drinking and I did smuggle in a few shots in my socks.
Wow.
I'm a professional, okay? I don't pay for beer at the games. I usually smuggle in a few shots. So, but he did look like Superman at one point.
No, that doesn't surprise me. He was pretty much unstoppable the entire day. So that must have been fun to see in person. I think it was his first 3-sack game. And yeah, he is, I mean, they need to pay him soon before it gets really, really expensive. But either way, let's move on past the Saints game, which Packers win. Very exciting, but we have a game ready tomorrow. So real quick, just some news to break down from today. The Packers already listed Devondre Campbell and Elton Jenkins out for tomorrow's game. Also, Zane Anderson, not to overlook that, of course. But the big news is questionable Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, Jair Alexander, and Zach Tom, and Carrington Valentine. The way guys are talking, it seems like Jones and Watson are going to be back. I don't know as much about Jair and Tom, but just based on that alone, Jones and Watson, you were kind of talking about it before with Love, but how much better can this offense get with Watson in it for the first time and Jones coming back after what we saw him do in week 1?
Okay, I might get hated on for this, but I'm actually afraid of. I'm afraid of the Lions. Look, it's Dan Campbell, and he's just. I love him. I really do. I know I shouldn't, but I love him so much as a coach, and I'm afraid of them. But you know what? After what we saw on Sunday, I think we're gonna be okay. I potentially saw this game being a loss, but after what I've seen, I think we're gonna be all right. I think, especially with Jones back, and he's a workhorse. Give him the ball, feed him the ball. He's out to prove people wrong. He said it at the beginning of the season when they weren't putting him, up on the map. They were not putting him as a top running back, and he was upset about it. And so he's out to prove people wrong. Why not give him the ball? He's doing those angry runs, and he makes things count. So why not? Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. I don't see us. I don't want to jinx us. I'm really superstitious, very superstitious. So I don't want to jinx.
I'm only superstitious when it comes to the Packers. Like everything else in life, I don't believe in superstition at all. The Packers, like week 1, I wore a certain jersey, clothes, this, that. Week 2, I did not wear it. Obviously, we lost week 2. Week 3, I gotta get back to what I did week 1, and boom, we won. So clearly, superstitions work. Everyone knows that every fan, what they do at home or at the game, has a direct impact in the outcome of the game. So yeah, keep doing your superstitions. But I agree with you though. Coming into the season, I kind of looked at this game and I was like, all right, unless there's some kind of not miracle, because it's the Lions, not the Chiefs, but I didn't necessarily see it going that well. But the way the last 3 weeks went, and especially last week, I just don't see really any opponent as a team that's just no way they're going to beat. Like clearly this team can be really good if they're playing it to their top level. And when you think about having Watson back, Jones back, hopefully Jair, Zach Tom, all that, they're going to be fully loaded and ready to go. And let's not forget, the Lions just knocked them out of the playoffs last year. And it's not Rodgers and it's a new team, all that, but I'm sure they are pissed off. And they did not forget about that game. So they got to take control back of the North. The Lions, I mean, come on. The Lions are not going to be the team that's controlling the NFC North. Otherwise, that would just be sad for all of us. But looking at this game, so we talked a lot about Jones and Watson, but do you have any player you think either needs to have a big game for them to win or someone that you think coming into this game is like set up to have a big game here?
I mean, I feel like Rashawn Gary.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, if he is still pumped up as he is from the last game, I think he'll make an impact on the game this week. I also think that it being a home game is a big deal. I hope I'm not going to be there, but I hope that the crowd is just as electric as it was to help us win. I mean, there's no point to be sitting down, especially it's against the Lions.
Yeah.
Like if we could be that loud against the Saints, we should be louder against the Lions. But yeah.
So are you saying that it was at least at times very loud on Sunday? Because I know people were concerned about it.
Towards the end, it took a while. It really did. Of us having to get up and, we were told to sit down a few times and it was kind of obnoxious.
Was it the people behind you or just people around you?
It was people around us. So we were all standing there. There was actually the guys in front of me were kind of chill. They were all for us standing up. They were younger, but there was a group of people to our right that were sitting down. And when we were standing up and not sitting down, they went to go call security on us. And the security came down and told us that we all needed to take a seat. And we were like, okay, it's 3rd and 4. What are you talking about? Like, we need to get up.
Yeah. No,
That makes...
it just doesn't make sense. Like, why are you going to a professional sporting event and expecting people to sit down and be quiet?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if this was like the World Series of chess, it would work out. But I really don't get it. I was at a game last year, and it was the same thing where my brother potentially gets very animated with, maybe some language that is a bit all over the place. But like you said, we're at a football game. Like, this is what happens at football games. And you have people freaking out the entire game yelling at us. And it's like, don't come here if you're not going to be able to listen to people screaming or cheering for their team. Chris, shut your don't listen.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm hoping that the crowd is just as electric as it was, if not more, for this game coming up. I wish I could be there, honestly. Again, it's just...
It's going to be a wild atmosphere. I do think the crowd is going to have to bring it. Jared Goff has not historically done all that well on the road in primetime, so hopefully that matters. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, looking at it for me, it's always Aaron Jones. Like, if Aaron Jones is playing, give him the ball as many times as possible. I don't want to hear it. I get it. Like, it doesn't help that week 1 he hurt his hamstring, and that's giving everyone the argument of, don't give him too many touches, this, that. You need to give him touches because he's just so far and away your best player. And unfortunately, I don't need to get into a whole thing about A.J. Dillon right now, but we know that outside of Aaron Jones, no one is carrying the ball in any effective way for this team right now. So you just got to do it. Whether it's giving him 7 or 8 targets and a handful of carries, okay, but he needs to be touching the ball consistently. But overall, the Lions are number 1. They're a bit beat up going into this game, their offensive line especially. So your call of Rashawn Gary could work out very well. I think he's going to have a very nice night. But, Janet, before we wrap up, and again, I appreciate you taking the time tonight. I know you're very busy, but we always like to get a score prediction here on the Pack. So unless it goes against your superstitions, I don't want to bring that up. But what are you thinking about this game? And, look, it's all about honesty. Zach loves to come on here and take the Pack to lose. He thinks it's very fun. So if that's what you're feeling, you got to go with your gut.
So, okay. Well, hey, look, last week I predicted 21-20 against the Saints. So I was very close. I think I was the closest one on every show. So I predicted this as a loss, but now you know what? I'm going to predict it as a win. And I think it's going to be 27-23 Packers.
I like it. 27-23 Packers with the dance, going 3-1 at Lambeau Field. And Jen, I am agreeing with you. I'm also flipping my preseason prediction from a loss to a win. I was actually going to go very similar to your score. But now that you said yours, I'll up it a little bit. I'll do 30-27 Packers. Maybe on a last second, Anders Carlson game-winning field goal, which would be very intense, but exciting. Wouldn't be the first time we beat the Lions.
He has a lot to prove with us. So if he can pull something like that, it would just be, giving him a little bit more credit, because right now I've heard a lot of things that not a lot of people are on his side.
Really?
So,
people are, but I don't think he's missed anything yet this year, has he, Carlson?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's meant, but I mean, obviously going into the season, there was a lot of questions. So it would be nice, to see him in prime time, his first primetime game, getting it done. And Riley, you know me too well. What can you do? But yeah, so 30-27, 27-23, both of us taking the Packers to win. Very good stuff. Jan, before we go, just tell everyone where they can find you on Twitter and any of your other content, obviously your new show, all of that. Let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me at OJanJan, exactly the way it's spelled on the screen. I am on Lombardi Sweep actually in like 10 minutes. And then we have Cheese All That will probably be on Friday. We're calling our show 2 games, 1 show. because we were not able to do a show on Monday night due to the fact that I was flying back from home and didn't make it in time. So
Okay, well, so everyone, you see how great Janet is with the show coming up in 10 minutes. She made the time to come on tonight to help me out. So we really appreciate it. Everyone, check her out on the show in 10 minutes, and obviously check out her show. She's All That. Great stuff. I just checked out their last episode. It was a very fun time for everyone involved. And as you see at the bottom of the screen, you can find the pack at the pack_show on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X because I just don't want it. I just feel like, right? No one's doing that. I refuse.
No one's doing that.
Yeah. And then even though Wolf Boy and Mayo Girl were not here tonight, make sure to follow them on Twitter at it's Zachary J and Big Mac _4. And you can find me at Book of Eli _NFL. Everyone, thank you so much for coming in. We will see you next week. Janet, thank you again. Everyone, go Pack Go.